Hello and welcome back to the another episode of Daily Quiz for IAS Prelims 2025. It is 15th October today, and in this video we are going to derive the important prelims based questions from these articles which are mentioned on this slide. You know, Before we will start our discussion, I would like to give you the brief introduction of this video. Every day in this video, we discuss three types of questions. The first set of questions are taken from the current affairs articles. The another set of questions are taken from the static portion. And the third set of questions which we discuss here are taken from the previous year questions. So the motto of this video is to give you the all side view of your preparation, how you should prepare, how to read the newspapers, how the questions could come from the news articles, and how to read the static portion, how the questions could come from the static portion, and also how to get the information from the previous year questions and how to understand the trend of the question papers. This is the motto of this video. With this, I would like to request you a few things before we will start our discussion. You know, First of all, please do watch the full video. It is going to be very much important for you. As our sources are the current affairs static portion and the previous year questions, and the good thing about it is the source for the UPSC too. So it won't be surprising if many questions in the next exam would coincide with these questions which we discuss here. So being on the safer side, it is better for you to watch the full video and get as much information as possible. And the second thing which I want to request you guys, please do write down these questions somewhere, or at least at least take the screenshot of these questions. It is going to be very much important for you. When your exams would be near, you would want to revise the current affairs, but the time won't permit you, because revising the current affairs is not that easy. You have to revise the current affairs of whole year. But if you have these questions with you at that time, you would just read these questions. These questions would definitely connect you with the current affairs, and also it will boost your confidence before entering the exam hall. Then another thing, you will get very well prepared before the exam. The another thing which I would like to request you guys, please do watch and please do subscribe the channel and share it with your friends so that they may also get benefited from this initiative. And also do write in the comments what else should we bring for you so that we can help you in the best way possible. And also you please do criticize us where we are lacking so that we will improve too. With this, let's have a look at the topics from where we have taken today's questions. Let's get the brief about the context of the news, then we will try to solve the questions. Here, the first article which was in the news is about the India-Canada expel diplomats. It is very interesting news because it was there. It was revolving since 1 year after the death of the Singh Najjar in Canada, as Canada blamed that it was the India who had killed him there because he was anti-Indian. India in his statements, he was pro-Khalistani. But India totally rejected that. According to India, that they had not killed him. If Canada believes so, they should provide the evidences. But yet Canada was not able to provide the evidence. But they had tried everything to degrade the Indian reputation with respect to this, and at the same time they are feeding the anti-India stands there. They are giving rise to those anti-India stands which India did not like. So there was huge tussle between Canada and India with respect to that, and finally from last few days we are seeing the rise in that, and Canada and India, they had both expelled their diplomats from each other's countries. And also, as we see that Canada was asking that they should India should remove the immunity which the Indian officials have there, which India did not like it, which India did not do, and they are both expelling their ex-diplomats from each other's countries, and we will see where it will lead to. There are not that much trade relations between India and Canada, but what would be impacted is the people-to-people contact. The students who are Indian students who are studying there, they will be impacted. And India has blamed that Canada because of the Mr. Trudeau's loss of popularity in Canada. He is trying to feed his vote bank there. So because of those because of his personal political agendas he is giving rise to these anti-India stands there. So this is in nutshell what was in the topic, and with respect to this we will try to solve a prelims based question and understand Canada more properly. Then the another article which was in the news is about the ensuring the proper social safety net for the gig workers. This is we had been discussing the gig workers since long, as we had seen how they are very much vulnerable to the social security, how they lack the social security. Suppose if they went through any accident, that then the company owners won't provide anything to them. So with respect to this, the Union Ministry of Labor and Employment is drafting a national law to incorporate gig workers into social security schemes. So this is going to work very much best for the gig workers. In it, the union government is trying to trying to trying to force, in a way we can say, the aggregates or the employers who they have to provide 1 to 2% of the revenue for the social security fund for these gig workers. And also there would be a model of welfare board. It will be involved, in it all the gig workers would be registered, so that the welfare would be provided to them as much as possible. And also they would be allowed, they would be allowed in a way, everyone would be allowed to to register their selves with the e-shram portal. So these are few things which the government is trying to do. Why it is in news? Because the Union Ministry of Labor and Employment, it is drafting a national law to incorporate gig workers into the social security schemes. So let's try to understand it more properly. What are the problems associated with the gig workers with respect to the prelims based question in the next slide. Then the another topic which was in the news is about the Samsung workers' right to unionize. It is one of the major issue in Chennai right now, because the workers from the Samsung, they are on strike, and they want recognition of the newly formed labor union, the Samsung India Workers Union. They want the recognition of that union, and also they want to raise their wages. For that they had been striking there, and unfortunately there was state was also involved in this in this hartals, in these strikes done by the laborers belonging to the same some workers. And unfortunately they had used the forces against these laborers, and many of them got very much injured. So with respect to this we will try to understand what is the status of trade unions with respect to the Indian constitution. What does Indian law say about it? Usually if we will talk about the companies, they don't like the trade unions, because it becomes a bargaining hand for the workers. So it in a way affects the companies in profit making. But for the if we look at the side of the laborers, it is going to be work wonders for them. So with respect to this we will solve a prelims based question and get more idea about it. Then the another article which was in the news is about the how did Haber-Bosch process change the world. This is the uh, in this process we are able to get the ammonia which is required for the soil, for the fertility of the soil. About the ammonia, about if we will talk about the nitrogen, it is most abundant in our atmosphere, approximately 71%. But it is in the form of N2, which is highly bonded, and it is hard to break the nitrogen. So that is why it acts as an inert gas, and it does not react with the soil. Because of that there is lack of nitrogen in the soil. But there are various natural ways through which this nitrogen mixes with the soil. For example, through lightning. Because of lightning, these bonds between the nitrogen molecule breaks, or because of the human wastes or other dead animals, the fertility of the soil increases. But that is not up to the mark. So to get this fertility up to the mark, there was an Haber-Bosch process came into the existence. Earlier it was Haber. He used uranium to as a catalyst, we can say, through which they were able to get the ammonia. But then the Bosch came, he used the iron oxides, through which it became much cheaper, and the result was much more in quantity. So it is in nutshell we can say Haber-Bosch process does involve, it gives us the ammonia which is required for the soil, it gives us the fertilizers. So this is in nutshell about it. With respect to this, we will solve a prelims based question and get more idea about it. Then after that, there is a topic article on the Nobel Prize in Economy. This year's Nobel Prize on economy go to the three economic scientists, we can say Asimoglu, Johnson, and Robinson, as they share Nobel Prize on economics for work on wealth inequality. They worked on the wealth inequality and they got the Nobel Prize in economy for this year. And then the another article which was in the news is about the Nile nations agree on water sharing without the Egypt. This is also one of the major issue there. So we will discuss a question on the Nile waters and get more idea about it. After that, we will solve a question on the Article 20, and finally we will move to the previous year questions. So by this, I hope you had got the basic idea what is in the news. You had got the basic gist of the news, basic gist of the news articles. So I hope you had got that basic knowledge about the news, what was in the news. So with this, let's move to the another portion. Let's try to solve the questions which are related to these news articles. Starting with the first question here, it says which of the following countries share a border with Canada? As we discussed the issues with India and Canada relationship, we know that the trade is not that much good, we can say, up to the level which should have been. And the most affected sector would be the people who are studying there, the students who are studying there, the diaspora, that would be the most affected by this quarrel between the China, India, and Canada. So with respect to Canada, let's try to understand its borders first. The question says which of the following countries shares a border with Canada? Is it United States? 100% correct. Is it Mexico? No. Is it France? No. Is it Greenland? No. So the correct answer is United States. And we should know that the Canada only shares its land border with United States. So with respect to this question, the correct statement is option A only. With this, let's move to the another question and try to solve. Here the question says which of the following are common challenges faced by gig workers in the modern economy? What are the common challenges? We saw that how Union Ministry of Labor, that they had come up with the plan to frame the guidelines for the gig workers. So here, what are the common challenges faced by the gig workers? First, lack of job security, 100% correct. Absence of employee benefits, correct. Inconsistent income, correct. And limited access to legal protection, 100% correct. So with respect to this question, all the four statements are correct, and from the code given below, the correct code would be option C. With this, let's move to the another question and try to solve that. Here the question is about which of the following statements regarding the trade unions in India are correct. We had discussed how the Samsung workers are fighting for the recognition of their trade union. So let's try to understand more about trade unions through this question. The question says the trade unions are recognized under Article 19(1)(c) of the Indian Constitution, 100% correct. Statement 2, the Trade Unions Act 1926 provides the legal framework for the formation and registration of trade union, 100% correct. Third statements, trade unions have the right to strike and engage in all collective bargaining as per the Indian Constitution, 100% correct. With respect to this question, all the three statements are correct, and from the code given below, the correct code would be option C. With this, let's move to another question and try to solve it. Here the question is about the Haber-Bosch process. It is primarily used for the production of which of the following? Nitric acid, no. Urea, no. Hydrogen gas, no. Ammonia, 100% correct. The correct answer for this question is option A. We saw that how it became important, how it helped the people to get more ammonia, which is utilized by the soil, which is finally helps in the soil fertility. So we discussed about this in the news in the first slide too, and by solving this question, I hope you had got the proper idea about it. With this, let's move to another question on the next slide and try to solve. Here the question is about the Nile River. It says which of the following countries are traversed by the Nile River? Egypt, 100% correct. Sudan, correct. Ethiopia, correct. Uganda, correct. So with respect to this question, with respect to the statements here, all the four are correct. With this, I hope you had got the basic understandings of the what was in the news today. Now, with this, let's move to the static portion topic, which is today Article 20. Let's try to solve that. Sorry, yeah, let's try to solve it. You know that Article 20 deals with the protection in respect of conviction for offenses. So, with respect to it, let's try to solve this question and understand it more deeply. The question says, which of the following statements are correct regarding Article 20 of the Indian Constitution? First, it provides protection against ex post facto laws. 100% correct. It provides the protection against the ex post facto laws. Second, it guarantees the rights to be defended by a legal practitioner of one's choice. 100% correct. Third, it protects against double jeopardy. 100% correct. Third, it applies only to civil cases. No, it applies to both civil as well as criminal cases. So, with respect to this question, first, the statements which are correct is 1, 2, and 3, and from the code given below, the correct code would be option B. We need to understand one thing: what is this ex post facto laws and what is this double jeopardy? About double jeopardy, it is very simple. You can't be punished for a crime twice. So this is very much understood. So what is this ex post facto law? You know, it is that, for example, there anything was legal in India and suddenly it became illegal. So that if you had done that act before the law, then you can't be, for example, on the 1st May, today is 15th October, yeah, and for India government came up the law that you can't go for the trade unions. For example, you can't make trade unions; they are totally banned from the 15th October. Suppose there were on the 14th October we had formed a trade union and we had registered that. So we can't be, we can't be taken to jail for that we had done anything wrong. These we are protected under this Article 20. We are protected against the ex post facto laws, which is ex post facto laws or retrospective laws are the ones that retrospectively make changes in the legal consequences of acts committed prior to the enactment of law. In simple terms, for example, if those laws which were legal when you committed that and became illegal after a few times, so you can't be taken to the jail, or you can't be you know you can't be asked the question with respect to that you had done any crime, because at that time it was very much legal. मतलब कि उस वक्त ये बहुत ज़्यादा लीगल था. सो आपको एक्स पोस्ट फैक्टो और रिट्रोस्पेक्टिव लॉज के बिना पर आपको जेल या पनिशमेंट नहीं मिल सकती है. दिस आर्टिकल 20 protects us from that, and it protects us from double jeopardy. For example, for the same case you can't be punished twice. So with respect to this question, I hope you had understood these important basic concepts. With this, let's move to the another part, which is the solving the previous year questions. Here the question is with respect to the as we solve every day these questions, let's try to solve them. The first question: who among the following rejected the title of knighthood and refused to accept a position in the council of the secretary of the state of India? Is it Motilal Nehru? No. Is it MJ Ranade? No. Is it BG Tilak? No. It is definitely GK Gokhale. So with respect to this question, the correct statement is option C. And coming to the last question of today's discussion, it says, during the Indian freedom struggle, who of the following raised an army called Free Indian Legion? Was it A. Lala Hardiyal? No. Was it Reshab Ras Bihari Bose? No. Was he V.D. Savarkar? No. He was definitely Subhash Chandra Bose. So with this, we complete today's discussion. I hope you would like the video. I hope you would share it with your friends, and I definitely hope you would subscribe the channel. Thank you for staying with me. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.